Welcome to Midlife Unlimited, the podcast for women like us who want more. I'm your host, Kate Porter, the Midlife Metamorphosis Coach, and I'm delighted to be joined by my episode 64. Gosh, we're racking them up, guest, the wonderful Emer Delaney, My Private Dietician, to give a taste of our full-length audio episode that's available now. I've got hair in my mouth, excuse me, wherever you get your podcast. How to beat, now we're laughing, so this is going to be positive stuff. How to beat the January blues. So welcome, Emer. It is fabulous to have you here.
Hi, Kate. I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks very much for having me.
Now, I did say our episode, it's really upbeat and positive, which hopefully will be a breath of fresh air because we've just had Quitters Friday. And I've just had a realization about quitting that I will share with you a bit. We were just chatting about it. It's a good thing. Bear with me on this. We've got tomorrow is, and it is a thing, ditch the New Year's resolutions day, and obviously blinking Blue Monday coming up on Monday. And we're not making light of those of you, because I've been there, who are suffering at the moment with your mental health. But the most miserable time of the year, it doesn't have to feel that way, does it?
No, it doesn't at all. And I think, sometimes by making New Year's resolutions or promises to yourself or, whatever way you want to package it, I think you are often setting yourself up to fail because those resolutions they're so huge. It's like, okay, I'm going to, lose, I don't know, 2 stone in, by the end of February, or I'm going to run a marathon, next month, or you've got to be realistic. And I think we're always looking at the bigger picture. We're always quite impatient and we want things now. So we just need to make sure that, that things are achievable.
Oh, it is, isn't it? It's actually that total. We're so used to in so many areas of our life that instant I can't say it, gratification. That click it and it's there, whether it's shopping or food or whatever. But what do you say? When it comes to New Year's resolutions, well, we don't do those because they don't work. Because mostly they're arbitrary. Mostly they're based on shoulds or other people's ideas of how you need to be doing things. But as you say, by actually thinking, not just I want to lose 5 kilograms, I want to run a half marathon, but it's the why, isn't it? Because that's where the motivation lies.
Absolutely. It's so, so important to ask yourself that question. Why do you want to do it? Why is it important to you? If you want to, get fitter, why is that? Because you
Yeah.
want to, have more time for your grandchildren, if you have grandchildren, or you just want to be stronger and fitter as you get older. So everyone's why is going to be different. And that's why I think we really need to look at these promises and looking at your lifestyle as an overall, not specific things that you're going to do just because it's the new year, just because society says you have to make these resolutions and you're not in with the crowd if you're not. So your why is so important because then it's personal to you, and when something is personal to you, it's more it's really close to your heart, and therefore
Yeah.
you will prioritize it and prioritize you.
Because it lights you up. It lights you up. And another thing that we talk about in our full length episode, but I'm gonna dip into it now because I'm loving these video podcasts. And some people would rather watch a video podcast than put the headphones in and listen. So absolutely going with that. Obviously, if you have fallen foul, I will say that if you have fallen for the New Year's resolution hype and you've now hit the mid-January, and maybe let's use, for example, going to the gym, because obviously that is a very popular New Year's resolution. And it has fallen by the wayside one day, twice. The first thing, but the worst thing you can do is the old guilt trip yourself, isn't it? And start beating yourself up because you just feel 20 times worse than you ever did.
Absolutely. And you've got to be kind to yourself. We all, if fitness is your thing that you want to work on, and it is for so many people,
So
it's
I've just
about
chosen that because it is such a massive January, get fit, gym
it
memberships go through the roof, don't they? Yeah.
is. I mean, when I went to the gym the other day, I mean, I couldn't get on any of the machines. So I thought, okay, I'll go back to the treadmill then, or, and kind of, and do that for a little bit, for a little longer. But if that is your thing, it is, it's about consistency because
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about being realistic. You might say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 4 days a week. And maybe for the first week you can. And then for the second week you sleep in, or you're looking, your alarm goes off at 6 and you're freezing and it's really dark outside. Life gets in the way. And just
Yeah.
because you miss one day, you don't beat yourself up about it, because that's, you're just going to go down the spiral of negativity. You just say to yourself, okay, I didn't do that today. For these reasons, I'm going to do it tomorrow and prioritize it tomorrow. And if you can't find, if you don't get to the gym that day, maybe reflect and say, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk, 20 minutes, half an hour after work, just going to close my computer. And that is your way of getting your exercise in. It mightn't be doing weights or your resist or your running on treadmill, but it's still activity, and you're increasing your overall activity, which is so important in midlife, as well as your weight and resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you just said, you're still doing something rather than sitting there beating yourself up, going, oh, well, I might as well have a box of chocolates because I've failed, or I might as well have half a bottle of wine because I've failed. It's like, no, yeah, as you just said, ask yourself, I'm guessing normally, I don't like the word normally, but the reason behind you not going to the gym will be identifiable. As you say, it will be that you were stuck at work, you were stuck with childcare, you had to go and do shopping, there was something, that another choice that you had to make instead. And
Absolutely.
the reason for that will be a reason you can go, okay, that happened, whether it was something beyond your control or not, but you can still choose going forward. Okay, perhaps I'll shift the day, perhaps preempt if that's going to happen again. I will do this. Like you said, that day, if Tuesdays turn out to be a really bad day, I will have the plan B in place so I don't beat myself up. When I get home, having done X, Y, and Z, I will then take 10 minutes to go outside, go for a walk.
Absolutely. And that all feeds into something that's called your NEAT activity. And your NEAT activity is just your daily movement. And in midlife, that is so important, as well as your exercise, as well as how you're eating, as well as your sleep. So you mightn't think 10, 15, 20 minutes isn't going to do anything, but it's going to increase that activity level that, as you said, if you didn't do it, you're just going to be maybe, sitting at home. So it will feed into your overall energy expenditure, which again, you need to increase generally in midlife.
Yeah. Well, my little phone tracker will actually say it gets to about 6 o'clock and it will say, oh, all you need to do to hit your target is literally go for a short walk. And I'm like, great. So, and if I can't get out, I'll just put some music on and go marching up and downstairs for a bit. Sounds a bit odd,
yeah,
but gets my heart rate.
Again, yeah, and again, it gets your heart rate up. It is that resistance exercise. It's feeding into your NEAT activity. So tick, 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 all of those boxes, and you didn't go to the gym.
Yeah. Now, another thing I'd like to touch on as well, obviously, your name, My Private Dietitian, but you're very clear, and I love this. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, isn't it? Because I think the word diet, for so many of us, we feel we've tried and failed, and we've maybe yo-yo dieted is a phrase that lots of people use, isn't it? And diet can bring with it, like so many things that we're examining when we're starting or trying to change our habits, denial, not doing stuff, stopping doing what we want to do, stopping what we love doing. But it's about reimagining, isn't it? And especially now when it really is use it or lose it.
Absolutely. I'm that's one of my
Some
biggest things when I work with people. It is not a diet, because diets do not work. We know that they just don't. It is about a lifestyle change. It's allowing yourself to have, a little bit of everything. And if you say to any person, myself included, if someone said to me, Emer, you can never have chocolate again, the first thing I think about is chocolate. And then I will start to obsess.
It's the elephant in the room, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how, that's what we're like as human beings. You want something even more when you're told you can't have it. So it is about balance. It's about including, healthy fat, the right type of lean protein, the right type of carbohydrates. I don't know how many times people have said to me, oh, I've stopped eating carbs. So many women, when we first meet, the first, one of the first things they say is, well, I don't have any carbs and I don't have any dairy. It's like, oh my Lord, we need to have carbohydrate. That's our fuel, just like petrol is to a car. The key is having the right type and the right amount. So yeah, like I said, I'm not about excluding, anything usually, but it's looking at the right type of carbs, and when you talk about, just thinking about, processed foods, ultra processed foods, that's a very hot topic at the moment.
Yeah.
Some of the ultra processed foods are not good for us, but if you're having them, once in a blue moon, every couple of weeks, if you just run in and grab a ready meal, it's not the end of the world. That's better than not having anything at all. And some process, for example, Weetabix is a processed food considered, but that's, a great source of fiber.
I do eat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so do I. So it's distinguishing, the right types, if you like to say, and realizing that not all ultra processed foods are bad, but the majority, you should be having very occasionally. But yeah, it's, when I work with people, it is going back to basics, looking at what they're having in terms of, vitamins, minerals, like I said, the right type of carb, the right type of fats, because all of those are so important, particularly when we move into midlife.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Now, obviously, we're going to be giving your contact details in a bit, but one thing that really, we talked about it in our full-length audio episode, but it sprung to mind again now, is when typically midlife women like me, sitting there scrolling this time of year, you think, oh, that looks interesting, cortisol belly, oh yes, and then you're suddenly inundated with adverts, with this, with that. But a little knowledge really is, as my grandma used to say, I think it's probably a Shakespeare quote, most of her stuff is a dangerous thing. And so, as you just said, oh, carbs, bad, bad, bad. Stop eating them. Oh, protein, need to eat loads of it. But yes, it's the right type of protein. It's not just, I watched a documentary the other day and it's like, no, it's not just the protein, isn't it? And sometimes you think, oh, that's a high protein food. That's what I need. But when you actually look at the ingredients, you're paying 3 times more for something that's literally maybe a gram of it's clever marketing, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's such clever marketing, and food labeling in the UK it's a minefield. There isn't a one single type of food labeling that we can use across the board. So every supermarket does their own thing. And it can be really, really misleading with protein. Yes, it's the right type. So lean proteins, for example, white fish, chicken, turkey, your red meat maybe once a week, but the lower fat, really good, high quality. And then, of course, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, your plant-based sources, beans, pulses, lentils, tofu. Yeah, so it's finding the right type and including, and eggs as well, they're another really good source. So including all of those, but yes, protein is important, but the other really, I think, really, really important nutrient that we are not great in hitting is our fiber. So I think we're going to hear a lot this year about fiber intake. We need to increase it, and it's great for our gut, our microbiome.
It's great to go into the toilet regularly, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So again, it's make sure that you're including lots of fiber, fruit, veg, beans, pulses, lentils, whole grains, because they also form a really, really important part of your diet, and also they're great in terms of your appetite and help you keeping fuller for longer. So a winner all round, and we just don't need enough.
I like the bran cereals. I find them really good at filling you up.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, but we spoke about, we just had Quitters Day, and before we go into your contact details, I'd like to touch again, because I've had this realization that really quitting isn't a bad thing. Now, I know the sound has gone a little bit funny, but we will carry on because it's beyond my control, which we have to accept when things are. But quitting gets a bit of a bad rap. You go, oh, you're a quitter. Now, there are 2 types of quitting, and I'm talking about intentional quitting, because I am a bit of an expert quitter. Yeah, I've quit the booze, I've quit the fags, but there are really powerful things that I've done as well that I love helping others with. Quitting people pleasing, quitting fear of judgment, quitting overthinking. And when you look at it that way, you quit things that are bringing you down to make room for more of what you love. And that's what my group program that's coming up, shameless plug, details, drop me a DM. But isn't it, that's what, when people go, oh, you're a quitter, well, let's reframe that, because then that will take the whole guilt thing. Yes, sometimes quitting is, and that can be with a health regime that you just think, actually, this isn't right for me. Actually, this running sounded great, but my boobs are too big, my knees hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I absolutely love that idea. I think it's great kind of to spin and change that narrative, because from my perspective, I would always say, let's quit diets. You just do not go on a diet. Like I said earlier, they don't work, and it's, you might follow them for 3-4 weeks, and you might think, okay, well, I've lost some weight on the scale. It's like fantastic, but if you're cutting out huge food groups, for example, carbohydrates, as soon as you start eating carbs again, that weight comes right back on, because it's fluid that you're losing, and not fat. So yeah, I love that analogy, and I think, as you do get a little bit older, I think you have that confidence to say, well, actually, this is who I am, and this is me, and if you don't like that, that's absolutely no problem. But you shouldn't change who you are for anybody. You need to be true to yourself.
Absolutely. And I think now, as midlife women and chaps as well, you're welcome, we can say, actually, no, this isn't right for me. Whereas in our 20s or 30s, we felt the whole, the herd mentality, we had to be seen to be behaving or doing the same as everyone else. No, now we can actually say, look, come on, we've got this far. Let's celebrate this wonderful body that we're in, this amazing mind that we've got. Let's do everything we can to prolong it, to promote it, to stimulate it, but do it in a way that lights us up. Life's too short. Going forward, let's make every moment full of things that make us feel good.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't second that more. I'm in complete agreement. Our bodies really are fantastic. They're incredible machines, and I want to give mine the best nutrition, the best exercise, because I want to be as strong as possible, for my son, and if he goes on to have kids, for my grandkids when it comes in, quite a number of years. But and that's, I think, the really important thing. But do it in a way that you enjoy, because food is a pleasure, as well as having a function, and there's a huge social aspect to it as well. And life is too short, as you said. We need to enjoy every moment.
And as you said, eating and food, it can be a wonderful way of bringing you together with friends, meeting new people, which again in itself makes you feel better. Well, hopefully, if the conversations are good. If they're not, boundaries, another conversation altogether, saying no. It all ties in. So I said, obviously, all your contact details are in the show notes for our episode. Audio episode available now wherever you listen to your podcast, and via the Midlife Unlimited podcast website, where you'll find Emer's details again and her guest profile and a rather gorgeous photograph. But before we go, can you talk me through, and viewers, how they can connect with you, anything you've got coming up, or if you haven't, the kind of things that they can have a chat with you about?
Absolutely. So yeah, lovely. Thank you. You can catch me on my website, which is myprivatediet.com. And once you check that out, you can register for my blog. The details are on the landing page. And if you want to email me on info@myprivatediet.com. I'm having a bit of an issue with my socials at the moment, but they will be back up and running.
I've heard quite a few people have been having problems.
Yeah, so I'm using it as a time to reflect. But my handle is myprivatediet.com on Instagram and TikTok. And in terms of what's coming up, I do have my group program, also another group program starting at starting in mid-February. But all the details are on my website, and people can log on for a free guide that I've got in terms of weight loss, and all those details are on my website with the Work With Me page.
Excellent, excellent. Oh, brilliant. And I say all the links are again in the show notes. They're live links. You can click straight through, and on the Midlife Unlimited podcast website where Emer has her guest profile. And also on the website, you'll find all my details. I'd love to connect. You can come and join the Facebook group. You can send me a message, and also you can get in contact. My brain went then. To find out more about my award-winning, well, it's an all-in-one 12-week program with one-to-one coaching, group coaching, WhatsApp support, which I'm now calling the Quitters Revolution. Come and join the Quitters Revolution. It's starting soon, so drop me a DM. So all that remains to say is thanks again, Emer, for joining me. I loved our episode. I love catching up with you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, there's a new audio episode of Midlife Unlimited every Thursday, where I'm joined by a fabulous female guest to smash stereotypes, bust myths, and tell midlife how it really is. So here's to living midlife unlimited. Thanks ever so much, Emer. Take care.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.